and the courts have ruled for a social security number. Everything else is a no-no. Do not give your social, you don't need it. Now, of course, people will say, but applying for credit cards, applying for this, doing that. Yeah, it does make things easier. It gives them what is known as your credit score and all of that extra data about you. So will it make things easier if you give people your social? Yes, and you can. But when it comes to employment, do not, because it has been backed up by law that it is not necessary. So, further, any individual that, again, is going to dishonor this request, you want to bring in a person with you when you give this paperwork over, so there is a witness, and that individual who refuses will personally be required to pay $1,000. You don't even need a court order for that. It's instantaneous. The second that it happens, the Supreme Court has immediately said a $1,000 dishonor charge will be awarded to the person who was, of course, denied their rights. So, again, assuming that plaintiff's refusal to disclose his social was clearly established right, defendants could not, as reasonable persons, have been aware of that right and could not have recognized any effort to compel disclosure of that number, and thus damages were barred. What does that mean? Well, as long as you have a witness, and that witness is telling them, look, you will owe $1,000. Well, not the witness, sorry, you. And inside our letter, we show that as well. If you deny this, we are guaranteed $1,000 plus any attorney's fees. So you're making them aware of that, and then also having another witness there to sign, right, your name and then the witness's name that, hey, they did not accept this. Then, again, not only do you have an instant $1,000 win, but most Social Security number lawsuits end up in the ranges of $50,000 to $250,000. So $50,000 to $250,000 for a single Social Security number denial. That's a lot of money. And a lot of companies, once they contact their attorneys, they will instantly drop it. Now, will they still owe you $1,000? Yes. Even if they just denied you for one day. That was a violation of right. Now, is, of course, the employer going to be mad at you for doing that? Yes. But again, if they fire you for any other reason because you had this interaction with them, you're looking at about $250,000 lawsuit. So again, it's all about asserting your right, and if anyone violates it, it's a huge payday for you. It's not something that you need to really worry too harshly about. Step 3 is the sample tax forms of a state citizen, how you would fill out. So an I-9, I just want you to read this. If you can zoom in, you'll see, if you do not have a Social Security number, please inform your employer that you will need a paper I-9. Okay, that's how you fill it out. You don't do it online. Even if they say, do it online, we force you to do it online, they cannot force you to do it online. In fact, if they did, we're back up to here, which is a denial of right. So again, they're violating certain rights. How would you fill in an eligibility verification form? Just like this. So I'm only going to go through it very quickly. You're going to fill out your street, your city, fully spell the state, put the zip in brackets, okay? Social Security, not available. Telephone, email, not available. We like to just cross this out and say, instead of citizen of the United States, we say free inhabitant of the United States, born in whatever state you were born in. So if you were born, you're living in California, but you were born in Utah, put that. If you weren't born in the U.S., just skip that part. Just say free inhabitant of the United States of America. You can also put state citizen if you'd like, but this is more readily accepted by employment agencies. They don't really care when you put that. Then you can sign, date, and that's it. So if it's a W-4, here's what that's going to look like. Same thing. Spell out the entire state. Zip code in brackets. Now, for number 7, you're not going to write exempt. You're going to write non-obligated / exempt. First put non-obligated because that's what it is. Then for their purposes, because they just need to say that the word exempt was written somewhere in this box, write exempt. But for the records, it'll say non-obligated first, letting them know it's not that you're exempt, because exempt is asking for permission to not have to do something. Non-obligation is not even being involved in the first place with what the idea is, with the entire organization of what you're asking exemption from. So non-obligation is a much stronger term than exemption. Then we're just going to write all receipts earned. are redeemed in lawful money, again, no withholding is authorized. We're going to sign that, and we're going to sign it as the grantor. Some people sign it as beneficiary, but we like to just say as grantor, and then we date it. All this means is that we're putting on our W-4 showing for the IRS, in case they ever look back at this, oh, this guy's redeeming in lawful money. Don't touch this guy. If we have to go to court over this, we're going to lose, and we don't want to make a court issue over this, because if we make public record that lawful money is the correct way, then we're going to end up losing billions and billions of dollars from taxpayers who safely assume we have to pay taxes because they said so. Again, it's all a system of tacit acquiescence, consent by silence, unwittingly, unknowingly, you're consenting. 1099 miscellaneous, you can fill out just like this. Again, same thing, you're spelling everything out. W-8 Ben, we don't really suggest doing this. W-8 Bens are extremely hard to fill out. You actually have to have a W-8 Ben amended with our PDF because of specific language that needs to change on the form. And because we need to change certain